Mr Chair. Lewis Award.
Mr Chair, it's my pleasure to take a call in this committee stage of the Parental Leave and Employment Protection 6 months paid leave and work contact hours amendment bill. And this Part 2 debate, Mr Chair, is about extending paid parental leave from 22 weeks to 26 weeks. And I'd like to really focus on the rationale of why 26 weeks. The proponent of this piece of legislation, Sue Moroney, has been very clear that it's linked to the World Health Organisation and evidence about the optimal duration of exclusive breastfeeding. And so for other members of the House's information, WHO has actually looked at 14 research publications, and that optimal duration of exclusive breastfeeding has been determined for the first 6 months of life, and it's considered a global public health goal that is linked to a reduction of infant morbidity and mortality, especially in the developing world. So there's actually a rationale around the 6 months, why 6 months is so vital, and the link between this specific piece of legislation and breastfeeding of our children. And it's also relevant in the debate to look at Article 24 on the rights, on the Convention on the Rights of the Child. And that particular convention, Mr Chair, states, children have the right to good quality health care, the best health care possible. And what we know is that breast is best, and that for the first 6 months of life, children having an opportunity to be breastfed is incredibly important. So the rationale for the 26 weeks comes from that piece of research evidence, the World Health Organisation's an array of research and publications about how important and vital it is for the growth and development of our babies. So for people listening out there, the 26 weeks also was part of a recommendation of a November 2013 report by the Health Select Committee. And that Select Committee was chaired by Paul Hutchinson. And that inquiry into improving child health outcomes and preventing child abuse with a focus from preconception until 3 years of age actually had a section about paid parental leave. I'm sure that national members of Parliament would be really interested in this piece of the inquiry and this piece of evidence that I'm about to propose, because actually Dr Hutchinson was a huge champion, particularly of the rights of the child, making sure that every child in New Zealand had the best possible start. So on page 39 of that report, under the heading extending the duration, under the heading social economic determinants of health and wellbeing, there was a section about extending the duration of paid parental leave between 6 to 12 months. And the rationale for that really was again about breastfeeding, because it helps babies form positive attachments with their primary caregivers. And to quote from that report, it also said this: common sense suggests that a non-stressful, relaxed environment for as long as possible after birth fosters breastfeeding and helps babies form positive attachments with their primary caregivers. So in fact, the proposition in that report was 26 weeks at a minimum to 52 weeks. And it's interesting when we look around the world, Mr Chair. So when this bill passes, and I want to congratulate my colleague Sue Moroney, we will join Chile, Mongolia and Hungary. Poland actually, Mr Chair, allows 26 weeks, the Czech Republic 28, Bulgaria 32, Slovenia 34, Norway between 35 and 45, Ireland 42, 52 weeks, Albania, Montenegro, the UK, Croatia 58, Estonia 62, and the champion around the world is Sweden at 68. So what we're actually doing is creating a minimum level of paid parental leave that so many international organisations around the world have said are incredibly important if we want to focus on the health and wellbeing of our children. And I think that what we've heard tonight really is procrastination on that side of the House, and a focus actually about what is important to them versus what is important to us. And I think the compelling arguments from our side of the House really have put children and families at the centre of a piece of public policy and legislative reform. Kia ora.
The question is that the motion is agreed